This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barracks at Imperium Chambers. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to keep up to date with immigration news. Today we're talking about the Home Office being condemned by various inspectors for running its COVID concentration camps. Napier and Penally Barracks. I warned that these camps are unsafe and unfit for human habitation in previous videos, and all my clients have been moved prior to threats of court action. Now it's not just me that damns these camps. It's more bad news for Priti Patel, as both the Her Majesty's Inspector of Prisons and the Chief Inspector for Borders and Immigration have yet again found that Priti Patel is incapable of living up to her word of delivering a humane office. Perhaps not surprising for someone that wants to hang people. This comes from a report on both Napier and Penally Barracks, from which I have had, as I say, people removed due to the fundamental failures of leadership and planning, which is quite a damning indictment. This is unsurprising given that almost half the people at Napier Barracks have contracted COVID. This is exactly what I predicted and was fortunate enough to get my clients out before they caught it. If you are there or you know people that are there, please get in touch with me and I'll do the same for them. If it could get worse for the Secretary of State, and probably can, the chair of the Home Affairs Select Committee, Yvette Cooper, said that the preliminary findings were damning, stating that this shocking report from the immigration inspector shows just how unsuitable, unsafe and inappropriate this accommodation was for long-term accommodation in a pandemic, she said. It gets even worse, as Public Health England advised the Home Office that the accommodation at Napier Barracks was against the government's own guidance. That was before they started stuffing the most vulnerable people in there. Given that these camps were only set up so that Priti Patel could show how tough she was on asylum seekers that were previously housed in hostels, she ought to really hang her head in shame. But instead will probably put out a few tweets proposing to support rights, when in reality she's just creating misery for more people. And really keeping these camps in operation requires some pretty clear justification in my view, especially due to the further report that not only are people being housed like animals, but the camps are not actually fire safe. Given that the Crown Premises Fire Safety Inspectorate raised serious concerns about Napier that had still not been fully addressed by the time of the inspector's reports. Perhaps, however, sadly, it comes as no surprise as these camps are being run for profit by outside contractors, which is typical of this government, that the managers at both sites were found to have lacked the experience and skills to run large-scale communal accommodation. Probably not paid very much, but the company running it making a huge profit from the Home Office and ultimately from the taxpayer. And if you want to add insult to injury, the Home Office could not be bothered to even exercise adequate oversight at either site, i.e. they didn't really care what was going on. And given that perhaps a third of respondents had said they had mental health problems, this is not surprising. In fact, a third of the respondents at Napier said they felt suicidal. That was a big mistake, because guess what the Home Office did? Instead of looking after the most vulnerable people, those most at risk of self-harm were located in decrepit isolation blocks, which inspectors considered were unfit for habitation. Oh, and whilst on the subject of these concentration camps, apparently contrary to guidance and the policy, children were kept there pending any age assessment. How many damning reports can this hopelessly right-wing and out-of-touch Secretary of State take is remarkable. One wonders if she'd have put her own parents there, given that they came to the United Kingdom looking for sanctuary, or whether she'd condemn Boris Johnson to go and stay in them, given the fact that he himself is a migrant, having been born in the United Kingdom. Perhaps not, given where she is today. But it's easy to pick on the most vulnerable, and she certainly seems to enjoy doing it, given her policies, given this express setting up of these camps to show how tough she was despite everybody damning them, whether it be inspectors or whether it be the courts, and especially in circumstances which is most disgraceful, that when anyone raises a serious challenge, the person is either moved quietly, or alternatively, as in one case, it was found that the accommodation wasn't suitable by the courts. I hope that Priti Patel sees sense and lives up to a humane Home Office policy and closes these camps as soon as possible, especially during the middle of a pandemic. Do I believe she'll do it? No, sadly not. Not until we get a new Secretary of State, and in my view that can't happen fast enough. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel and please keep in touch if you want to keep up to date with immigration news. Thank you for watching. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers.